All right, guys, welcome to episode 3 of Building Fighter Mindset. As we've said before, there's lots of information you can get on becoming a better protector through gains in fitness, or tactics is a little bit harder, but it's out there. Shooting, no problem. Finding guns and knives, that's all out there. Mindset's more important than all of that put together, and it's very rarely discussed. So the topic I'm talking about today is part 3. I haven't talked about before. It'll be pretty intuitive, but I don't see it discussed, and it really needs to. So if you haven't seen episodes 1 and 2, we're talking about other issues that you need to look up, and I'll put links up here or whatever else like that for you guys to go check out and deal with this in turn. Okay, so to kind of segue into what we're going to talk about today, I want to start with a movie reference that everybody will probably know, or some will notice. Anyway, in the old Terminator movie, there's this punk kid, John Connor, who is grieving the loss of his mother, while the futuristic cyborg Arnold Schwarzenegger is sitting in front driving kind of the getaway car as they just got shot up this funeral home or whatever else like that. And John Connor's in the back seat, upset because mom's dead, and he starts crying or feeling sorry for himself or something else. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, sorry, the details are still foggy. I haven't watched this in years, but this left an indelible mark on me, an impression on me just as a kid. But Arnold Schwarzenegger reaches in the back and hurts John Connor. And then all of a sudden, John Connor, who was crying, is now ticked off. And he's like, "What'd you do that for?" And Arnold Schwarzenegger said something to the effect of, "Anger is more beneficial than despair." And he says that. When I listen back, I probably just botched that Arnold impression. But I wanted to go full up for you guys and give you a good show. But that stuck with me. I'm like, despair. That's not very helpful. Now, there's a time to, grieve and whatnot. But on a battlefield, there's a couple of things that have no place. Despair and regret. There's no room for those. Now, the problem is if you haven't dealt with some of the, a couple of the issues I'm going to mention, when your life is in danger and your head and your heart aren't clear of other obstructions, unfinished business is what I'll refer to it as, then you're going to not be able to stay focused and do the work that you need to be able to do. You can't be thinking about kids and wife and shattered relationships and unmet goals and an unfinished life in the midst of violent altercation, because it distracts your mind from what you need to be able to be doing. So what that means for us is no unfinished business, guys. As good protectors and warriors, you can't afford to have unfinished business in your life. And this is what I mean. One is you need to have good, healthy, mended relationships. That means don't withhold forgiveness from somebody. You're estranged from a parent, a sibling, or something else like that, and you're angry at them. You need to go ahead and get over it and forgive them before it's too late. Don't be the guy, "I've never got to say goodbye," and it'll torture you for the rest of your life. And you may not be ever able to really defend well, because if those issues in that moment, you may not have thought about it for years, but in that moment that'll come back and haunt you, and all of a sudden, no, I've got to make that right. You're not ready to die yet is the problem. Let's see, unconfessed love, a hardcore dad that doesn't tell son that he loves him, or something else like that. If only I had done whatever. There's the romantic love. I found it interesting in old biblical times. The Levitical law said newlyweds, the first year, those men shouldn't go out to war. They should stay home for that romantic love type thing. And I remember when me and my wife first fell in love, the idea of dying seemed like so much of a tragedy that I would miss spending a life with her. Now we're 10 years down the road or something. I still love of my life. I'd like to get old and gray with her, but it's a different deal now too. I could go out with my boots on, and if it was a worthy cause, she'd be distraught. She'd limp, perhaps for all of this life. But we could tackle something like that now, and that was a little bit of a rabbit trail. But don't withhold love, affection, or forgiveness from someone else. It'll eat you up, poison you, and you won't be able to face a violent encounter with a clear head and a clear heart. And that's what you need. Otherwise, despair and regret will cloud out good fighter mindset. You get it? This is really important stuff, by the way. Another thing, and this is going to be a pretty salient point for a lot of you guys, is you need to have a life that counted. You need to have a life that counted. That means you're doing something other than just making money or building your own ego or becoming great and admired or something. You need to make an impact, something outside yourself. In the day-to-day, it's easy to just punch a 9-to-5 job, cash a paycheck, and just be really reactionary in terms of life, as if, just kind of the tyranny of urgent robs you from really making that impact or doing what you really wanted to do, finding that passion that you have and pursuing it. But really, we can very quickly fall into a hollow type of existence. If you are ready to defend others and face your own end, you can't say, "Oh, I'm too young to die," or "I'm not ready to die." You need to be ready. And to be able to do that, you need to believe that you already lived a life that was worth something, that you left the world better than you found it, that you have made an impact in the lives of a few or many, it doesn't matter. And a legacy. What are people going to say about you at your funeral as well? Will there be a few people? Will there be a lot of people? Will it just be hysteria and everyone says, "What a great man or woman that you were"? That's the type of legacy. And so we need to really live our lives on purpose, because we're not ready to fight and preserve life if we don't have a life worth preserving. If we haven't made that impact, we feel like, no, I can't do this. I still haven't made my mark. It's unfinished business. And the protector, the warrior, can't have a place in their mind or heart for that type of attitude. You need to be ready to die, and that's part of it. Since I started with a movie quote, I'll go ahead and kind of finish with one on Braveheart, a great warrior poet type movie as well. William Wallace basically in a meeting says, you'll die, and he's like, "All men die, but not all men really live." And I'm not trying to be I don't know. I'm just saying it's a pretty cool part, and it does mention something that's really important. I'm haunted by a verse from the book of Colossians, Colossians 1:10, and it's probably, I think, 4 or 5 times it mentions this in Scripture, but it says, be sure to live a life worthy of the calling you've received. And I think about that verse probably every day. Live a life worthy of the calling you've received. And in the sense of that's a lot of what I'm doing here. I want to make an impact. I want to make a difference. As an instructor, I want to make you better protectors. I want to make safer communities. I want to make better people. I want to make warrior poets. And that's kind of what makes me tick. The, guns and tactics and cool gear, it's really lost its charm for me. I don't care. I'm over it. I don't care. And that's probably really hard for some of you to believe. But I just hung out with an old Special Forces buddy, and we just had lunch, and our families were together, and we talked for a long time. And guess what we didn't bring up at all? Military and war and guns, and never crossed our minds. We were on other stuff that's important to me. I'm an instructor. That's what I do. Full-time firearms and tactics instructor. That's what I do. But I've taught this stuff for long enough in enough hours that I don't really care much about the material. What I care about is equipping people. What I care about is when, as an instructor, I see light bulbs go on, and all of a sudden I realize, aha, impact. Aha, I've helped that person. Aha, this is so if they don't care, then I don't care either. But if I feel like this could save a life, this could help someone, this could make them better warrior poets, this could make them better, that's the payoff for me. That's what makes me tick. I need to make an impact that goes far past frail egotism or building myself up. I want to help others, and I want you to be able to do the same. And that's what makes us warrior poets. And so I challenge you to the same. Guys, don't have unfinished business in your life. So train hard and train smart, and I'll see you guys.